Assalamu alaikum, friends. I hope you are all doing well.
The great Lord of the worlds has sent countless prophets and messengers throughout the ages for the guidance of mankind, and he sent each of them to earth with some miraculous sign so that by observing the miraculous matters they would believe. One of the major nations mentioned in the Holy Quran among the destroyed nations is the nation of Ad, to whom Hazrat Hud alayhi salam was sent.
Today we have tried to discuss the miraculous events of the life of Hazrat Hud alayhi salam. So stay with us by watching the full video until the end.
Hazrat Hud alayhi salam was sent to the nation of Ad. Ad was the fourth generation descendant of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam. The nation of Ad dominated a vast area stretching from Oman, located in the basin of the Persian Gulf, to Hadramaut and Yemen at the edge of the Red Sea for several hundred years. They used to worship four deities. The name of the first deity was Hubal, whom they revered as the god who grants rain, crops, and wealth. The second was Allat, whom they believed to be the deliverer from danger, disease, and misfortune. At number 3 was Manat. They honored this deity as the provider of food, peace, and salvation in the hereafter. The name of the fourth one was Al-Uzza, whom they worshipped considering her the giver of health, strength, and victory in war. Allah Almighty sent Hazrat Hud alayhi salam to them as a prophet for the guidance of this odd nation. Allah Almighty granted every prophet and messenger some miraculous miracle. However, there is no such mention in the Holy Quran regarding the miracles of Hazrat Hud alayhi salam. But Allah Almighty destroyed the odd nation, and we can learn from the Holy Quran about how Allah Almighty miraculously saved Hazrat Hud alayhi salam and the believers at that moment of punishment. The survival of Hazrat Hud alayhi salam amidst the terrible punishment was a miraculous event. Hazrat Hud alayhi salam was a man of the Ad lineage. Allah Almighty mentions this in the Holy Quran. When he invited the nation to guidance, hearing the prophet's words, they started mocking and ridiculing him. They said to the prophet,
"What is the proof that you have come to guide us as a special messenger of Allah? If you are a prophet, then give appropriate proof."
Allah Almighty sends prophets and messengers throughout the ages for the salvation and welfare of mankind. There is no personal interest in their deeds and words. Fulfilling the responsibility given by Allah Almighty is their main duty. When a nation becomes negligent in matters of morality and religion and becomes a follower of extreme disorder, then prophets appear as the guide for that nation and people. Then, if the nation surrenders to him and accepts the true religion, Allah saves the nation. He grants them progress. And if they begin to live as disobedient to the Prophet, then Allah's manifest wrath descends upon them. Therefore, if you naturally believe in Allah and give up the worship of gods and goddesses, there will be well-being for you everywhere.
Otherwise, a severe punishment will come upon you, in which you will be destroyed. No trace of your existence will remain on the face of the earth.
Let the punishment come! We do not fear! We possess physical strength. We have the power to face the punishment. Yet, we will not abandon the religion of our forefathers. We have received many benefits by worshipping these gods and goddesses. We have attained wealth and health.
It is by no means possible for us to accept a new religion.
No!
The people of the nation of Ad were extremely strong and tall. Among them, there were people up to 400 yards tall, and the height of the short ones was 70 yards. 2 or 3 of them gathering together could overturn small mountains. If they stood on top of a mountain and struck with their foot, the foot would sink into the stone. Uprooting any vegetation was an extremely easy task. They used to practice agriculture through irrigation. For this reason, for the purpose of preserving water, they built large reservoirs like rivers. Water would accumulate there during the rainy season, and throughout the year they would irrigate with that water and do farming. In those days, Allah Almighty would grant manifold crops in the fields in just a few days. If wheat seeds were sown in the field, the wheat would ripen within 15 days. Ripe fruits could be obtained just 2 or 3 months after planting trees of fruits like grapes, pomegranates, apples, etc. The economic condition of the people was very solvent. They had no wants or complaints. Their physical condition was very good. Diseases were almost non-existent, so to speak. When the nation of Ad rejected the prophet's invitation, the prophet prayed against them. Allah Almighty accepted the prophet's prayer against them and stopped the rain for 3 consecutive years. Due to this, all the lakes and rivers they had made dried up, resulting in the cessation of crop production. Then a terrible famine descended upon the nation. People began to spend their days in starvation and half-starvation. The physical strength of the great wrestlers diminished. Human corpses were seen lying on the roads. Old women and children began to die at a higher rate. A terrible wailing began all over the country. People started trying to sustain their lives by eating tree leaves and inedible food. There were 70 tribes within the nation of Ad. The total population of these 70 tribes was over 100,000. From among them, only 70 individuals accepted the prophet's invitation. One day, these 70 individuals requested the prophet, saying,
"O Prophet of Allah, the way the terrible shadow of famine is descending countrywide,
It does not seem that we or our loved ones will be spared.
therefore, please pray that Allah Almighty lifts this wrath quickly for this time.
We will try our utmost one more time to bring the nation to the path of guidance."
The prophet prayed in the court of Allah in response to the request of his followers. Allah Almighty accepted the prophet's prayer and arranged for crop production again by sending rain. And it was through the prayer of Hazrat Hud alayhi salam that Allah Almighty miraculously granted this rain. That is, there was a miracle within his prayer as well. Because of this rain, all the people of the country breathed a sigh of relief and began to live happily and comfortably. When the prophet presented the invitation of religion to them, they misbehaved toward the prophet just as before and clearly stated that they would never accept his invitation. The prophet repeatedly presented the invitation to them and displayed the fear of Allah's punishment, but they did not believe in the prophet by any means. Rather, some people of the nation of Ad engaged in a conspiracy to kill the prophet. They revealed their intention quite a bit through their conversation and behavior. Seeing their conduct, the prophet prayed for refuge in the court of Allah. It was informed to the prophet from Allah Almighty,
O Prophet, you go out of the city with your 70 followers and take shelter in a cave in the mountains.
I am sending the punishment of storm and flood upon the nation of Ad very soon.
This is your last warning! Come with me! Your Allah and the punishment of storm and flood will not be able to weaken us. We have fixed that strategy. Now, if you want to be saved from our punishment, then abandon the claim of prophethood and live among us without hindrance. Otherwise, leave the city very soon and go elsewhere.
According
May
to
we
the
not see
command
you in
of
this
Allah
city tomorrow.
Almighty, the prophet left the city with his followers. After crossing a long path, he reached the mountainous area. There, after looking around in all directions, he finally entered a cave and took shelter. Allah never tolerates oppression upon the prophet. Therefore, he imposed wrath upon the nation of Ad for their activities. Allah Almighty ordered the angels, release a small sample of the storm blown by the horn on the day of judgment upon the nation. Receiving this order of Allah Almighty, the angels fell into prostration and began to weep and said with humility, O Sustainer, the amount of wind you have ordered to flow would cause destruction on earth hundreds of thousands of times in a moment, because the earth is now extremely small. On the day of judgment, the earth will be made much larger. Then the earth will be given the ability to withstand the strong wind of the horn's tune. But today's earth does not have the capacity to withstand even 100,000th part of it. Therefore, please make this crisis easy.
Allah Almighty ordered the wind to flow equal to the breath of a cow, which was also a miraculous matter for Hazrat Hud alayhi salam. Because of his words, Allah Almighty miraculously reduced such severe wind somewhat.
Then the souls of all the prophets gathered and petitioned in the court of Allah Almighty, saying, O Rahman Rahim, the amount of wind you have ordered to flow will turn the entire earth into a solid mass. There will be no light, air, mountains, or rivers there. The whole earth will turn into a hard rock. No living being will be able to survive there ever again. Therefore, please relax the order of this punishment. Accepting the prayer of the prophets, Allah Almighty ordered the wind to be made to flow the amount of a needle's point. To implement this final order of Allah Almighty, 7 days prior, the angels assembled red, black, and yellow clouds in the sky. They stilled the water of the flowing rivers. They stopped the speed of the moving normal wind. Seeing this condition, the people of the nation of Ad believed that Allah's punishment was very near. Then they took shelter in various mountain caves with their wives and children. When more time passed, they saw the whole world covered in darkness. Seeing this condition, the nation of Ad became somewhat afraid, and they went to the hilly areas, kept their wives and sons in the middle, and the youths stood creating a barricade on all sides. Then, striking the stone repeatedly with their feet, they stood buried up to their knees, so that no wind could displace them. On the appointed day, Allah's punishment reached the earth. A fierce storm began. Trees and houses were finished. After that, high mountains began to break apart and fly in the sky. In that process, the coverings and roofs of all the caves were destroyed. Consequently, the wind blew the people into the sky, and there one destroyed them by striking one person against another with great force.
For 3 days, humans, trees, and mountains merely floated on the wind and struck each other violently. After 3 days, the storm stopped. Then human corpses, trees, and fragments of mountains fell from the sky to the ground. The human corpses looked like uprooted date palm trees, lying randomly here and there. The scene has been mentioned in this way in the Holy Quran. In this flow of wind, the group of atheists and apostates were almost all destroyed. Those who had some trust in the Prophet were mostly saved. It is said that a group of believing individuals were safe in that area in such a way at that time, and Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam was there with them. But even after all this, they did not know anything. Even the hem of their clothes did not fly in the wind. 3 days later, when the Prophet returned to the nation, the living followers were astonished to see the situation and scene of the whole country. They, without any delay, accepted the complete lesson of the religion from the Prophet. Those who accepted this lesson were able to establish even an Islamic state on the face of the earth as true believers. Due to a continuous wind and storm, the nation of Ad, to whom Hazrat Hud alayhi salam was sent, was completely destroyed. But even amidst this play of destruction, Allah Almighty miraculously kept His beloved Prophet Hud alive where he was not supposed to survive, which is an incredible miraculous event of his life. After the passing of Hazrat Hud alayhi salam, this Islamic state remained established for 100 years. Hazrat Hud alayhi salam lived for 400 years and guided the nation, and receiving such a long life was a miraculous matter of his life. After the passing of Hazrat Hud alayhi salam, several 100,000 people performed his funeral prayer and completed his burial with extreme devotion. The extent of success Hazrat Hud alayhi salam attained in fulfilling the responsibility of prophethood is unparalleled. Achieving so much success without war and without bloodshed has not been seen in the life of any other prophet.
May Allah Almighty grant us the excellent guidance of all prophets and messengers. Ameen. Respected viewers, please be sure to let us know in the comments how you liked the video. And everyone, please stay with us. That is all for today. Stay well, stay healthy. Allah Hafiz.